Hello YouTube people, in today's video I'm gonna show you yet another beautiful watch from Hruodland's flagship store on AliExpress. This watch is called Baltany, very well known watch with burgundy dial, you know what I'm talking about. And in this video I will show you how this watch looks like on my 16.5cm wrist or 6.5 inches. I will show you how this watch looks like on some different straps. We're gonna check the accuracy, we're gonna do a little bit of quality testing, and I'm going to compare this watch a little bit to this Hruodland roasted oyster watch because it costs the same, size is the same, and a little bit to this Datejust dive because of the similar styling. This video is sponsored by Hruodland flagship store on AliExpress. They have sent me these two beautiful watches and I thank you for that. This is pretty old shop in AliExpress terms. This shop was founded in 2017, so it's already 8 years old and it has very positive feedback, and they have over 169 beautiful watches for sale right now. So it's a very big shop, very old shop in AliExpress terms, and they have very positive feedback and they have beautiful watches like these for sale. So thank you Hruodland flagship store for sponsoring this small YouTube channel. Now let me tell you their specifications, and as always I did all the measurements myself. So this watch of the bracelet, just the case alone, weighs 50 grams. Diameter of this case is 36 millimeters. Lug to lug distance 43.3. Lug width is 20. Thickness together with sapphire crystal without cyclop is 11.5 millimeters. This watch has sapphire crystal and sapphire cyclop. I have tested it myself. It has NH35A movement and water resistance rating is 100 meters together with a screw down crown and screw down case back. I usually don't show boxes, but this time I'm gonna do a little exception because Baltany packaging is very nice. So let me show you how this watch arrives in this little drawer. You pull this out and you have this leather pouch inside, also this beautiful Baltany envelope with documents inside, and you unwrap this leather pouch like that. It's a very fancy unboxing experience. It's just nice, and you take this thing out and you have this beautiful watch inside. So yeah, unboxing experience is really nice, and even the watch is protected inside with this piece of leather. Very nice packaging, Baltany. That's how this watch looks like from the top down view on my small wrist, and I think it looks great. The size fits my small wrist very nicely, and speaking about comfort, it's great. Small watch, lightweight watch. Even with the bracelet on, I have nothing to complain about. It feels very comfortable. Now let me show you the bracelet. The bracelet on this watch has solid links and solid end links, and links are connected with screws. Articulation is very good. Links are not getting stuck, they are free to move around very nicely. The first link is not fixed in place, it is free to move, as you can see. End links sitting inside very nicely, no free play, no gaps, they're very snug. Fitment is very good, nothing to complain about. Now gaps between links are even, everything looks nice, nothing is poking my eyes, everything very cohesive, nothing to complain about. Now if I would compare a little bit to this Datejust dive, the difference is that this Datejust dive bracelet has quite a bit of side-to-side flexibility, which I actually like because it makes this watch feel a little bit more organic on the wrist, more adaptable. I like that, but some people associate that with poor quality. This one does not have free side-to-side flexibility so to some people this is actually indication of a high quality. Okay, now another thing is that bracelet on this Datejust dive originally was a little bit sharp. I finished off those edges right there, so right now they feel great, while Baltany straight out of the box feels great, nothing to do. Bracelet is finished actually nicely. It's not too bad. Now let's compare clasps between Baltany and Datejust. Datejust clasp is excellent. It's very good, except it had sharp edges and corners. I had to finish all edges and corners myself. Not a big deal. I finished them off nicely. The clasp shelf also was sharp. I finished it off also as well. So right now it feels good. The good thing about this Datejust clasp is that it is not large and it's relatively slim. As you can see, relatively slim. Now let's take a look at the Baltany clasp. Baltany, one nice thing about Baltany clasp that it is already finished rather nicely. There are no sharpness on the inside portion of the clasp. It's nice to touch, especially this part which is sitting on the wrist. You know, this part that is sitting on the wrist, it has very nicely rounded up edges. They are even polished out, as you can see. This feels nice, nothing to do. Now the shelf also, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I wouldn't do anything except these very edges are a little bit sharp, but it's not much, you know. Nothing really to complain about. What I could complain about is the thickness of this clasp. You know, it's a little bit industrial, you know. Let's compare to Datejust. Datejust has this rather slim clasp, while Baltany is a little bit of a chunky thing, so, you know, I'm not really complaining. It's fine, it feels fine, but I kind of wish it was as slim as Datejust. Regarding the bracelet adjustment, I got one question from you asking if this watch is gonna sit nicely on a 6-inch wrist. And let me tell you something, my wrist is 6.5 inches, but there is one thing: if you remove even amount of links from both sides, then it's not gonna sit nicely. I did that initially, and this watch was sitting a little bit like that initially. So what I did, I removed one link from this side and added that link to this side. So right now this side of the bracelet is actually longer than this one. So right now the watch is perfectly centered on my wrist, clasp and the watch. So that's what you have to do. Sometimes you have to make one end a little bit longer than another. And your wrist is 6 inches, a little bit smaller than mine, and I think you aren't gonna have problems, because I do still have one link to be removed on this side and 2 links to be removed on this side, and my adjustment on the clasp is basically in the middle. So even if you have a little bit smaller wrist, I think you shouldn't have any problems. Look, if I lock it in place, it's a little bit uneven, but that's what I have to do to make this watch sit centered on my wrist. So right now it is perfectly centered, it feels great. And by the way, this is how many links I had to remove to fit my 16.5 or 6.5 inches wrist. That's how finishing off the case looks from up close. Sides are polished out very nicely, as you can see. Top of the lugs as well. Very sparkly, very shiny bezel, very active. Very active. This bezel is super shiny. Very beautiful crown, rather big for such a small watch. It feels great, I will show you later. Very nice Baltany logo engraving, and I think it's very beautiful logo. Baltany logo, it's very nice B, very well done. That's how the inside of the lugs look like. That's how the case back looks like. So there is only one problem, you know, if you wear this watch on a bracelet, it's fine, but if you plan to wear this watch on a leather strap, you will notice that these lug ends are very sharp and very pointy. So you will have to dull them down, use some kind of sandpaper, or I don't know, maybe something like this. Just a little bit dull them down if you plan to wear it on a leather strap, because otherwise it will be a little bit annoying. Other than that, nothing to complain about. It's very nicely done watch. I will do comparison between these 3 watches just because it's fun, but first of all I would like to show you the dial of this beautiful Baltany. Pay attention to the color of this dial. It's very subtle, I would say. It's very soft. It looks very luxurious. Gives off a very luxurious vibe, especially with these slim indices. And the date window is black, and this Baltany logo is very beautiful. And on the rehaut, on the inside of the sidewall, as you can see, there is engraving Baltany, Baltany, Baltany. Very nice. And the sidewall is not tall, so this dial is not sitting deep. Man, this thing looks very, very luxurious. Really good looking dial. Now this Addis dial also has burgundy dial, and these two watches look, you know, well, exactly the same styling, but you know what, they're actually very different when you take a better look. This Addis dial has quite a bit more saturated burgundy dial, and this sunburst effect on this dial is very active, very strong, and with those thicker indexes, this watch gives off quite a bit sportier vibe, while this Baltany, the color is a little bit more subtle, slim indexes and everything gives off quite a bit more luxurious vibe rather than sporty, so they do look rather different, you know, from each other. When you look at them separately, like, yeah, whatever, the same watch with burgundy dial, but no, once you put them next to each other, they are very different, in fact. Now Baltany versus Hruodland Roasted Oyster, because they both copy the same brand, they both cost the same, and the size is also basically the same. So probably some people are debating which watch to choose, Baltany versus Hruodland. So let me show you them next to each other. Maybe this will help you with your decision. And if you haven't seen video on this Hruodland, I strongly recommend checking it out, because it has a very special looking dial. It's very active, very much changing because depending on the light angle. It's very, very interesting, very beautiful dial, and those hands are very beautiful. And generally speaking, you know, if I would do a little comparison in terms of the quality, I would say Hruodland is a little bit better made watch, because there are subtle differences. Like, for example, this edge on the case back is very, very nicely done on a Hruodland, nothing to complain whatsoever, nicely rounded up. On Baltany, this edge, well, I wouldn't call it sharp, but it does catch my finger a little bit. It could be better. And on Hruodland, it's actually excellent. Now the bracelet, the general feel of the bracelet, sharpness, finishing is better than average on a Baltany. On Hruodland is even better than on Baltany. There is even less sharpness than on the Baltany, which is nice. The clasp, I don't like them either. You know, this one is a nail breaker and it's way too big for this watch. This one is kind of alright, but also it's quite thick, and I wish it was a little bit slimmer. But everything else is very close match, very close match. Case finishing, in terms of the polishing and all, they're very close match. So, and they both very, very beautiful watches, quite obviously. So, you know, it would be difficult to choose. Crowns on both of them, action is just great. So, you know, it's down to a personal preference, which style you like better. Now, just for fun, let's just put these watches on the wrist. Let's see how they look like on the wrist, one after another. Okay, so let's begin with this Baltany. That's how it looks like. Size is just perfect for my small wrist. Man, this burgundy dial is quite special. It gives off a very strong luxury vibe. So yeah, that's how it looks like. Now let's move on to Addis dial with the burgundy dial. Okay, very saturated burgundy dial, a little bit thicker indexes. Now that's how it looks like. Slightly sportier, a little bit sportier. Now let's move on to Hruodland Roasted Oyster, and hold on a second, I don't want to break my nail. I hate this clasp. That's how it looks like. This, well, on a bracelet, I don't know, this watch doesn't look as beautiful as it can be. Once you put this watch on a beautiful leather strap, then it unveils the full beauty of this watch. So check out the video about this watch if you want to see how it looks like on a leather strap, because this watch looks incredible on a leather strap. Now let's do a little bit of a quality control testing. Let's see how far from the midnight it is going to flip the date. Let's see the alignment of hands, the crown action, the lume, and the accuracy. So let's begin with the crown action. And crown action is excellent. This is a screw down crown. It catches the threading very nicely, does not feel grindy or anything. Nothing to complain about. And this is an H35 movement inside, so no surprises. Of course, it feels great. It feels precise, and you know, it has certain quality feel, certain stiffness. It feels nice, really. Setting this watch does not feel cheap whatsoever. Now let's see how far from the midnight it is going to flip that date. And okay, it's 11 p.m. 11:30, 11:45, and right now let's go slowly. Well, it flips the date 9 minutes till midnight. It's not too bad, it's not too bad. I kind of wish it was closer, but it's alright. It's alright. Now let's see the alignment of hands. How do they align? Let's set on exactly 6 p.m. And yes, they sit straight and nice. They are very well aligned. Now speaking about quality control, I don't see any dust underneath the sapphire crystal. The watch is clean, so nothing to complain about. Now let's check the lume. All three watches on the table are charged. Let's turn off the lights. Let's see how is the lume. So the star of the show, this Baltany, it does have some lume, as you can see, but it's just a decoration, really. It's not a functional lume. By the way, pay attention to how good it looks like in a dim light. Wow, look at this bezel. It's very active. This watch is very active even in a dim light. Such a beautiful thing. Now Datejust dive. Datejust dive, as always, has very good lume. Very good lume. Now this Hruodland, in the middle, somewhere in the middle. You know, it has some lume on hands, but index is not so much. Anyway, on a watch like this, you shouldn't really expect lume. And that's it, it's faded out. The watch is fully wound. Let's see how well it runs. Okay, let's flip it over. Face down. Well, a little bit fast. Let's see how well it runs if I put it like this, crown facing down. Well, what can I tell you? This is an H35 movement. They are not known for their accuracy, they are known for their durability, and I really like their crown action. Winding up NH movements, it feels very nice. Setting the time and operating the crown feels very nice. That's what it's all about. This watch looks very nice on its original bracelet, very flashy. Probably a little bit too flashy with this two-tone option, you know. For me, I am not sure if I would wear this watch in public like that. It's a little bit too much of an attention grabbing thing on the wrist. I don't know, I'm just a little bit too shy for that. But if you put this watch on a leather strap, it tones it down quite a bit. It doesn't look that flashy anymore. It's still flashy, it still looks rather luxurious, but not as crazy as on its original bracelet. And that's how I like this watch. I like this watch on this suede leather strap quite a bit more than on its original bracelet. It looks nice, I think. It looks nice. Not that crazy anymore, you know. And let's not forget that this watch has 100 meters of water resistance, a screw down crown, a screw down case back. So if you plan to do any water activities with this watch, it would be smart to put this watch on silicone strap like this. tropical style this one is. Doesn't look bad, you know, doesn't look bad. This bezel has this you know, texture which kind of matches with the edge of this strap. I think it doesn't look bad. And what probably would be the default option for this watch, in my opinion, is just black shiny leather strap. It looks classy, doesn't look too crazy, still a little, still rather crazy, but not as crazy as on its original bracelet, you know. Now same straps, but from the third person view. That's how it looks like from underneath the sleeve. So it's instantly noticeable that there is something special on the wrist, right? Quite special. I kinda, you know, I probably like this watch the best on just a shiny black leather strap. It tones this watch down the most, perhaps. It's not that crazy anymore, still just as pretty. And black silicone strap is probably gonna look exactly the same on video as just black leather strap, unless I show you up close, then you see the difference. Also, looking good. Black strap on this watch is probably the most sensible option, in my opinion. But how about this, one of my favorite straps, brown suede leather strap. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Now I would still go for the black one. I'm just showing for the comparison, but no, I think I would go for the black one. And for the ending of this video, let's put this watch back on its original flashy bracelet. You know, I say flashy because honestly this is my first two-tone watch. I never had a two-tone watch before, and I wasn't really aware of how flashy it really looks like in person, in real life. It has a very strong image. Too strong for me personally, to be honest with you. I wouldn't wear this watch with this original bracelet in public. That's a little bit too much for me. You know, it's beautiful. I like to see this watch in public on other people's wrists. It's an eye candy. I like seeing it. But I ain't gonna wear this watch myself on this bracelet like that. That's too much. On a black leather strap, yeah, no problem. But on its original two-tone bracelet, no, that's a little bit too much. You know, I'm just too shy of a person. It looks beautiful, but I'm just too shy for such a flashy watch. I wasn't aware of that. So as a first-time experience, two-tone watch, wow, that's a bold image. That's quite an experience. But if you are a shy person like me, maybe go for a full stainless steel version with silver dial. So that's my summary about this watch. Very nice watch, very nice watch. So thank you Hruodland flagship store for sponsoring me, and thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.